Wonderful sweet baby. So today we're going to be talking about a mental health check that went wrong. So before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know that the things that I'm about to say may not be suitable for younger audiences. So if you are a little bit squeamish towards things, then, just be sure to kind of skip this video or skip some of the things, but it's definitely something that I wanted to bring awareness to. And of course, I'm always going to use, scribble marks over things that are sensitive, as well as emojis to cover up things that are very sensitive. So an officer by the name of Peter Liu was doing a welfare check on a woman by the name of Sydney Wilson. In the attempt of him actually doing this welfare check on Sydney, he actually ended up being chased by her. In the act of him getting chased, Sydney actually decided to run down the hall and had a KN knife in her hand. I'm sorry about how I have to pronounce my words. It's just, these apps are very sensitive and you have to be really careful with the way that you say certain things. But she ended up chasing him down the hallway and he was trying his hardest to maintain things, keep things in an orderly manner before he had to unalive her. So, of course, as you can see, he was keeping his distance and he was keeping his, pow pow up. So then that way, if she did anything out of the ordinary, he would be able to protect himself. There were times in which Sydney actually got really, really close to him and, he had almost gotten injured, if not, sustaining little injuries. In the end, he actually had to defend himself and he ended up having to unalive 33-year-old Sydney Wilson. In the end, you see him here actually calling for backup because of the situation that had arisen. And just for, safety of myself and my account, TikTok and YouTube, that is just smothered ketchup that is all over his walkie-talkie. So here's my thoughts. This is a very scary situation. I've seen a lot of different conflicting comments in the comment section, and it was just a lot that was going on. So I've seen a lot of people say things like, well, guys, honestly, I can't defend this one. This is definitely a situation in which this woman should have been unalived. And then I've seen other comments in which people were saying, well, there's always a sense where you can just use a taser to help yourself. And after long thought, I've actually found out what my take is on this situation. And let me just say that I think that this has nothing to do with the color of her skin or how she looks. I honestly am siding with the officer in this situation simply because of a plethora of different things. Yes, at the end of the day, he could have used his taser. Tasers are actually used to stun people that, are in your paths to stop them in their tracks for temporary reasons. And I hear that a lot of the times we always say that, that's an alternative that we should be able to use without having to unalive people. But then I have to think to myself, if I were in a moment similar to this situation, how would I have acted? My adrenaline pumping, and I'm seeing a woman come up to me with a KN knife, and how I would act. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that in this situation with a woman that acted as if she was in some sort of possessed trance, I don't think that my first instinct would have been to grab my taser. If I knew that I had something more powerful to stop a person in their tracks, I would have done anything and everything I had to do to stop this person from affecting me from going home to my family. So I just feel like, it is unfortunate that this ended up happening to Sydney. And I don't think that anybody should be unalived. But honestly, in these situations, if we were put in this situation and we had one job, which is to get back home to our families at the end of the day, but we also have a job to protect and serve, I feel like in this moment, I would have made the novice or, instinct of trying to protect myself as well. And if that meant to unalive a person just to be able to do what I had to do in the end, then unfortunately that would have been what I had to do. And even in this instance here, where we heard Sydney and she was, pretty much at her last moments of, we can pretty much tell that in this moment, it even kind of seemed like she had some sort of possessive trance that was taking over her. The noises that she was making did not sound like noises of a regular woman. I don't know how to put that in the greatest of choice of words, but that's the only way that I could say it. It borderline sounded like she was coming off of a possessed trance. but that's my opinion. What's yours?